Hey, it's Juck.
And I don't think he's going to throw the ball as much as he thinks he's going to throw the ball now that Chip Kelly's on board. And I'm happy about that. More quarterback.
The truth is, Ryan Day has made a change philosophically, but it's none of those.
You all know who wins. LSU is the drunkest fan base in the country.
Hey, welcome to Juck on Bucks. Appreciate you so much for joining me. I had a little update to do, and I figured, hey, I'll record this little 4-minute update and pump it out, but I thought, why not just pop it on live, see how it goes? As you know, I have some issues with this, but we'll see what's happening here. But little update here. So Luke Waffle, Buckeyes' #1 target on the defensive line, #1 player out in New Jersey, an area the Buckeyes do really well in recruiting and have really ramped it up in the last couple of years. He's a beast who is ready to go at a position of need for the Buckeyes, a premier guy in the class, a dude who can come in and be absolutely ready to roll. Very few guys like Luke Waffle fit that description in this class of 2026, and he's all about football. He's not about his brand. He's not about anything else. This is an absolute football dude, and I think he's just a tremendous football player who can help Ohio State year one. So Luke Waffle got a brother who started off at Michigan, Owen. He then transferred to Penn State. And early on, this looked like an Ohio State, Penn State kind of deal here, with Penn State in the lead, obviously, with the family ties and being closer to home. And then Florida gets involved, USC gets involved, Texas gets involved. He goes down, visits Texas, and it was kind of an eye-opening visit for him down at Texas. Really liked it. And we're kind of thinking, okay, Ohio State, Penn State, maybe Texas. And then last weekend, he goes out to USC. And I should have seen this coming. Didn't bother to check. But the people that he went out and visited USC with, all the other guys that were on their OV, were guys who were committed. And he was essentially like the only guy that was not committed out on those official visits. A smart play on SC's fault. But coming out of that visit, all of a sudden it was not only is USC in the lead, but this sounds like a done deal. And that wasn't just coming from one source. It was coming from several recruiting sources. USC was able to just totally turn the tide here and do what they've done many times in this class. And it was obviously very believable because they have done it so many times in this class with so many guys. They've got something going clearly. Whatever they're doing is working. Whatever they're selling, guys are buying. And it sounded like Luke Waffle was one of those guys that was buying it. So Steve Wiltfong, one of those guys, and Steve Wiltfong from On3 comes out, and I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on things he says, and there's no doubt that sometimes he says things and it's just like, okay, yeah, you got a hunch here. There's other times when he says things and you could tell by the way he words it, like, this is serious one. This is a serious one here. And it was verified around. But something changed, and Luke Waffle is now all of a sudden making his decision tomorrow at 2:00. So Thursday at 2:00, we'll come on at 1:45 and we'll carry his decision live and see how it goes. It's obviously a huge one for the Buckeyes. Wiltfong adds in his article that after talking with the family, he has changed his RPM to Ohio State. But it seems pretty clear that SC is not in this anymore. So now we're talking back to where we started, Penn State, Ohio State for Luke Waffle. And man, would this be huge. This would be so huge considering the way things, obviously the tone went really negative when Luke Waffle, the USC news, there was a lot of angst yesterday. I could feel it on social media. I could feel it in my comment section. Tomorrow, Sincere Johnson also announces. And I think we all feel Sincere Johnson going to be a Buckeye. So we're talking about the potential of Sincere announcing at 12:30, Luke Waffle announcing at 2. That's 2 top 50 overall players on defense you could potentially add to this class of 2026 tomorrow. Luke Waffle, you would add him to the class with Kari Wilder on the defensive line, and looking likely that Jameer Perez from Glenville will be a flip. So your big one tech, Kari Wilder, kind of a move around guy. He's going to play 3 tech, going to play out wide. And then Luke Waffle, who is Carter Meadows is a really talented guy as a rusher. Luke Waffle's a 3-down guy. I mean, he's very similar to a Jack Sawyer in the way that, like, he can play the run great. He can rush the passer really good. He's very, very powerful. He's quick. He's just nasty, man. He loves football. I love the kid. I'm really excited. He's felt like, to me, a very much, what's up, Mika, like she says here, a very much a must get is how it's felt to me the entire time with Luke Waffle, particularly a guy out of New Jersey where Ohio State's recruited well. And what do we always hear? We can't bring those big guys out from the South. It just doesn't seem to work for us. Those highly rated big guys from the South, they want to stay home with their mom. None of that. We're not dealing with any of that. We're dealing with a guy who can come in from New Jersey, where he's got a ton of other guys from New Jersey to tell him, yeah, we fit in well here. Things are going great. You got Jalen McClain from New Jersey playing a lot as a freshman last year, a 3-star kid. So things looking really good at this point as we roll into decision day tomorrow. For Luke Waffle, it's going to be an exciting one. So we will be here at 1:45 for that one. I'm not sure if we're going to come on live for the sincere one at 12:30 now, which I was planning on, but I think we'll just go ahead and bump that back and get that second decision and hopefully be celebrating both big wins for the Buckeyes defense in 2026. And obviously we will do a recap of the class, where we sit at, talk about some future targets coming up, and the visitors that we've got coming up this weekend, as it is another big weekend of visitors. But one of those visitors will not be number 1 linebacker in the class, Tyler Atkinson, as, like I talked about on the show this morning, he has officially announced that he will be going to visit Texas. He will be going to visit Texas this weekend, shunning Ohio State, who has put a long time and a lot of work into his recruitment. And it's just one of those where it feels like when these things, for some of these big time guys, if they don't commit to Ohio State a little earlier in the cycle, like a Devin Sanchez or a Blaine Bradford, we're live. We're live, E. when we don't see them commit a little earlier, like Blaine Bradford, like Devin Sanchez, like Jeremiah Smith, like Chris Henry Jr., when we see these ones play the long game, it doesn't seem like it generally works out so well for Ohio State. And I think a lot of that is these guys that play the long game are subject to a lot of these ridiculous offers and deals getting thrown at them. In some cases, a lot of those guys want that. And I don't even want to say those guys. A lot of their families, a lot of their agents are working towards playing one school off the other, getting the best deal, and whatever. That's their prerogative. But like we talked about Felix Ojo, like we talk about Tyler Atkinson, these are guys that are very into building their own personal brand, because that's how they're going to get paid in the NIL game in the future. I think it's a poor strategy. I don't think there is a huge brand for anybody outside of superstar players and quarterbacks at big time schools. Felix Ojo is going to find out real quick, like, this is the most attention he's ever going to get is as a 5-star offensive line recruit. Last year, Josh Simmons could have walked into a bar around the country anywhere. It's a 1st round NFL left tackle, and he could have gone anywhere, and very few people would have recognized him outside of diehard Buckeye fans. It's just not what it is for left tackles. So these guys aren't getting a real impression of what their personal brand can be. And that's why you're seeing Tyler Atkinson really promote his ATKN up stuff so much, to try to dig that in and get that being something that's known. Of course, I still don't know what it is, and I even went looking for it. What is it? I don't know. It's corny. I know that. And the guys that are into their brand don't seem to be into Ohio State. We got guys like Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs who just become the best football players in college football, and the brand follows that. That's how it goes. And I know this can frustrate some people. I get it. However, it like Emily says here, it is incredibly corny. It is very corny. I don't know that I got young kids, right? So I ask them about stuff like this. Like, obviously it's corny to me. I'm a 45-year-old guy. And I ask them, like, what do you think about this? This is cheese. That's what they tell me. Well, that's my word, cheese. They don't say that. Cheesy, corny, whatever. And it is. So not looking like the Buckeyes are in on Tyler Atkinson anymore. And when we look at linebackers, you've got 2 studs from Ohio and Sincere Johnson and CJ Sana. I'm happy with it. If that's the way it ends, I'm very happy with it. Those are, I think this also talks about when we talk about strategies in recruiting, and I talked about when the contact period opened up. What did Ryan Day do? What did the coaches do? Well, Locke went down to see Derek Cooper down in Florida. Ryan Day went down south, saw Deuce Geralds, saw Braylon Womack, a couple other guys down there. If you don't end up getting those guys, right, maybe that time would have been wiser spent in Ohio. Maybe they need to work harder on these Ohio guys because it's just not seeming to work out as well in this era with some of these dudes down there. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but it would be nice if they could filter out these bag chasers a little earlier. It would be really nice if we could kind of find this out earlier and just get them out of the picture because they don't come here. They just don't. That's not the kind of guy that wants to come. Sean says, don't forget about that other linebacker, the kid from Georgia. He's talking about Xavier Griffin. Unfortunately, heard some not so good news about him this morning as it pertains to Ohio State either. So I kind of think that one's not going to end up in our favor too, though I'm not as certain as I am about Tyler, who doesn't even appear to be wanting to come for an official. The interesting thing is, remember, it wasn't too long ago when Buckeye Huddle's Mark Givler was interviewing him when he said Ohio State's my number one. And now the kid's going to go from that to not even coming for a visit, which is like, all right, man, it does not seem to be proper priorities, but it is what it is. Chris, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you guys. If you guys want to get in now, I'm done with what I had to say. I've got it off my chest, and you can lead the way here for a couple more minutes before I got to go hit my workout and get on with the day. Bucks by 50 be a huge win for this class. Absolutely. The Mormagil called it yesterday. He called it yesterday. Go Bucks. He thought that Waffle was the USC stuff was garbage, and it was going to be Ohio State all along. So credit to him if that happens. My man here going to be eating some Eggo during the commitment tomorrow for good luck. So as I said before, guys, this is a big one for me now. Luke Waffle, this is near and dear to my heart, the Waffle kid. And we're going to keep calling him Waffle around here. He will never be Luke Waffle, which I understand is the proper way to pronounce that name. That's not what it is here. Taryn Lester just lets us know that the Bucks got 2 picks for Waffle on 247. So all good news spreading around. And the Waffle jersey, without a doubt, going to be going on the wall, which, by the way, guys, we got a new jersey on the wall. We got JJ underneath Eddie George. Now, we can't see much of it. Obviously, as time goes on, he'll have to move up and be featured a little more prominently. Perez and Waffle ready for a new line. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. So interesting stuff, interesting movement going all over, the stuff with PJ Dean coming in, it's floating around there that he came in at 245. He says he came in at 260. Who knows what to believe there. Do we all Bucks by 50? Do we all like Larry again if he gets Waffle? So when we talk about defensive line recruiting, I am under the impression that this has got a whole lot to do with Matt Patricia and Ryan Day when it comes to these guys. And it only makes sense, right? These guys are coming in. Larry's 73. He's not going to be there for the end of their career. So if I'm Ryan Day, I need them to trust in me as the head coach, that they're coming to play for me. That's just kind of my strategy on it. But no, the people who adamantly hate Larry Johnson will certainly not be giving him credit. You don't even need to ask yourself that one. It's not happening. And that's just what it is. Biddle says, we're going to chat about the gorilla in the room. Your friend calling our backups turds. I'm still upset over that, Chuck. Yeah, he did say that. I don't think he was calling them turds. I think he was saying I was referring to them as turds. And obviously, that's not a word I would ever use to describe guys that are our guys, but I can certainly, I've been pretty harsh, right? There's no doubt about that. I've been pretty harsh, and I think that I've done a lot of thinking. I feel like we are a little too obsessed at times, and when I say we, I mean me, with depth. In the fact that when we talk about our starting lineups, like it seems like that's what we always used to talk about. And then it got to this thing where, okay, well, we got this covered, right? We recruit so good. We train these guys so good. Depth is covered. All the units are good. You can't complain about a single one. You even look at tight end now. It's one of the best in the country. All right, let's go to the 2 deep everywhere. And then we evaluate the 2 deep. And then we find a spot. Okay, this 2 deep isn't as good as it should be. And maybe there's been some hiccups in recruiting or some guys that didn't pan out. And when you have a couple of those guys in one position, all right, the depth there doesn't look so hot. But this obsession with depth that is kind of a recent thing. This has not always been a huge thing that we've gone into so much depth with, so much depth on the depth. But it's probably not nearly as big of a deal as I make it. The thing is, when you're evaluating Ohio State, you're evaluating a team that's a national championship contender. So I'm looking at that team versus the other national championship contenders. And when you see a program that has a defensive line that can go 8 deep in their rotation, it just makes me furious. You know what I mean? And that to me is also a thing, like I'm prejudiced against, like for line play, like Ohio State recruits great elsewhere. If I could pick anywhere to recruit great, it would be both lines of scrimmage. That's just me. That's how I feel is the best way to construct a team. But obviously it's more difficult. It's more difficult. Those guys are more rare, and they're more rare up here. So they're doing the best they can. Woody's, hey, Chuck, how does NIL money get spent that used to come from the average Joe contributing to the collective if all the deals need to have values attached? That's an interesting question. So the way I understand it is we talked about those corporations in Learfield that Ohio State's going to be working with. And now Woody's is saying, okay, the NIL, they're still asking us to donate money. Well, if they're not allowed to pay that money without it being from a company with value attached to that deal, why are they even asking for it? How are they going to disperse it and keep it with under the rules? And it's something I don't understand yet. I am looking into it, but I don't get it. I don't understand why. This is why I've stopped donating. I'm not donating anymore. And I don't expect a lot of people or places, other schools who used to donate to continue to donate in this system. My hope is that fizzles out, but I just don't think after paying the payroll for 3 years that fans should be doing that anymore. Now that we've got the school and the athletic department sharing the revenue, which is where the money should have always come from. It should not have taken this long. And in my opinion, like we all did a valiant effort. We did what we could to keep that going to make sure Ohio State didn't get left in the dust. And that's it. I'm checking out when it comes to that. Now, other things I'll donate to, but when it comes to the payroll, I'm done. I got my own payroll to pay. Adam, thanks so much. Adam with the super chat for $4.99. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for jumping on for a few. Keep us updated. It's why you're the best in the business. I don't know about that, man, but I sure have fun. I probably have more fun than anybody in the business. I'll tell you that. Reverend James Story puts it down right now. His prediction, this will be a great defensive recruiting class. I think that when we are all said and done, we're going to feel really, really good. We're going to feel really, really good. MS is in late. Is Waffle coming? It's certainly sounding more likely than that. Like if you were to take Ohio State of the field right now, the way this is all coming out all at once and the decision being announced tomorrow, which will be live here tomorrow at 1:45, it sounds like we're looking really good. We're looking really good. Who do we think the captains will be this year, says Emily? Sonny for sure because of his work and leadership, and Sonny absolutely slam dunk for the Block O, right? I think we all agree on that. But that's a good one, Emily. I will put that in the next show. I've got it written down. Good topic for the next show. My buddy Chad from the Best Damn Podcast in the Land. What's up, buddy? Chad not currently making episodes, so I'll let you guys know when he's back in, when he gets pumping again. Get that Waffle jersey on order, man. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Yeah, looking really good. Looking really, really good. All right, guys. I appreciate you so much for joining me. So tomorrow, once again, won't be live for Sincere's announcement anymore. That'll be at 12:30. We will be live at 1:45, and we'll broadcast Luke Waffle's decision. Hopefully, we'll be able to celebrate the Buckeyes landing 2 top 50 overall, 50-ish overall, guys. I think Sincere's like 70, but he's the real deal. Waffle's the real deal, obviously, and it'll be a huge win and a huge day for us tomorrow, should that happen, and I can't wait for it. Really exciting news. So I will talk to you guys then. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow. JUCK and Bucks out.